Hello, Drunkduckers. This is Ozone Ocean. With me is Baines and Tanserine. This is Quackcast number 781, and we're talking about musical influences, or the music that was part of the soup that became the creative melange that is us as human beings. And we will love to see your comments about what was the similar thing for you too. That's the theme, and here we are back again. Now we have to introduce the feature comic. Feature comic was a feature comic that I came up with, which was Jack and the Beanstalk. So I'm going to tell you about Jack and the Beanstalk now. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was Jack and the Beanstalk. Heartwarming interactive comic based on Jack and the Beanstalk, focusing on Jack and his ever-branching story tree influenced by reader choices. Jack is a humble boy with a poor dad and a cow, who is his only friend. He must sell the cow, though, so him and his dad won't starve. Things meander and drift in ever more obscure directions, as reader choices send Jack down weird routes, but never up any beanstalks. This is a fun little story, and it's fascinating to see where Jack will turn next. Fantasy comedy. So, read Jack and the Beanstalk by Amalot Rated E. That was Jack and the Beanstalk. It was a good little comic. I hope you have a read and contribute to the ongoing creative story that is Jack and the Beanstalk, a comic collaborative with its readers. Okay, so next up we have the best of Gun Wallace, because Gun Wallace is just, he can't do his music like he used to, but that doesn't matter. We've got like a billion tracks, and I'll do another best of because I love them. So here's the best of by Gun Wallace. It's Pertinent. This is old school southern rock, laconic, melodic, hard drinking late night whiskey, beer and cigarettes. Play your cards right and you'll be going home with the prettiest cowgirl. Take it away, Gun Wallace, with It's Pertinent. That was the best of by Gun Wallace. Pretty cool little track, if I do say so. It's such a marvellous taste, I should say, as everybody knows listening to this particular Quackcast. So this Quackcast is about our musical influences, because we are human beings and we are the sum of our creative influences, which we have sort of gathered over a lifetime into some sort of melange, a great soup of different experiences and influences that we have been exposed to as we were forming, especially when we're young, when our brains are taking in a lot more information. And this is in stark contrast to something like AI, which people mistakenly think is a kind of, new creative force, but it's not. And I really hate the way people think, oh, but AI is just doing the same thing that humans do. It's just looking at all the stuff and creating like a new version. No, it's freaking not. It's not a human. It is a machine, and it is illegally using the IP and making remixes of just the surface, superficial kind of stuff. Whereas us as humans, we are human beings, a totally different thing. We're not corporate machines that are cynically stealing IP. We are humans that take on board influences as our brains form, and these things change and they ferment and they turn into amazing different new formulations. And in the end, when we create our actual creations as human beings, because we can create, you can see some of those creative influences in our work, and that will influence us in all different amazing and interesting ways. And this particular Quackcast, talk about our musical influences, will examine a portion of that. And we would love people to comment and talk about their musical influences and things that had a big impact on them as they were growing up and stuff like that. So this whole idea stemmed from a thread that I made in the forums about musical influences as I was growing up. And I mentioned a few tracks and, just a very small amount of the tracks. Obviously, you listen to thousands of things. You watch a million different music videos and they all become an influence, but you can't mention all of them or it just becomes a boring list. So I just picked a few that struck me because I listened to them and I loved them back in the day, but I also love them now. So that's why I picked these ones. I'll sort of go through the ones that I picked in the thread just to start us all off. So in the thread, I picked All Fired Up by Pat Benatar as one of my favorite tracks. So this was a very high energy song. It was extremely positive. So Pat Benatar was a very rocky singer back in the late 80s. She had a lot of high energy pop music. And in this particular song, All Fired Up, she's saying, I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn by our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by fate. So that chorus kind of indicates that she's feeling good, she's feeling up, she's feeling fired up. And at that particular time, everything is just working out, it's falling into line. And at that stage, back in, I don't know, whenever that thing came out in the late 80s, that was the kind of music that I needed as, a depressed teenager to kind of get me feeling fired up, basically, or positive. This music had a very positive influence on me. And there were a few kind of tracks that from other bands that also had that kind of positive influence. Back in the 80s, metal was basically one of the biggest pop genres back then. Not like was in the 90s or came in the 2000s or whatever. It was a very different thing. So we just... Idiots dismiss it as like hair metal and glam metal these days. But that's not the reality. Back then, it was just popular music. And everybody was like that. There was not a metal band with short hair back in the 80s. Didn't exist. The only metal person I can really think of with short hair was Judas Priest. But the rest of his band had long hair. So anyway... That was all a big kind of like thing, and they had a lot of positive music until they started on this ballads, and everyone did that. But there are also some popular tracks from those kind of bands, like Bon Jovi, things like that, Bad Medicine. What was the other ones that were really big? Shot to the Heart, stuff like that would really give you a positive influence because it had such high energy. And okay, so another song that I mentioned in the thread was These Dreams by Heart. And back then, back in the late 80s, depressed teenager, These Dreams kind of took me away from that. So it was talking about like life when you're asleep, when you're dreaming, kind of a dream world kind of thing. So yeah, that was a really good one, and I still listen to it today. Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, another super positive song. Very, very fun song, and it's it's really cool, and that's a song I still listen to today. And I actually saw her sing it live in concert last year, which was awesome, and she still sings it with the same energy, same kind of power as she did back then, which I was shocked by and surprised. Speaking of that, Dance Hall Days by Wang Chung, which is a fun band, and that's sort of singing about another kind of time. That they're singing Dance Hall Days, they're like imagining like a 1930s kind of an experience. So it sort of took you away into another time and place. I liked that back then as a little kid, and I still like it now. And I saw them again singing it live last year, and it was an amazing experience. Absolutely. Oh my God. So incredible. The Winds of Change by the Scorpions. Back then, in the late 80s, that was super, super big. I think that was late 80s, I'm not sure. But it was big in the 90s, in the early 90s as well, you know, when the Berlin Wall fell. And it might not have been in the late 80s, it might have just been in the early 90s, I can't remember. Anyway, so it was big then anyway. The Berlin Wall fell in 1991. The USSR dissolved in about late 91, something like that, 92. And that song was specifically about, you know, things changing and getting better, and the cold thawing. And that to me was, such a positive kind of evocative music expressing what we were all feeling at the time. Later on in the early 90s, when, you know, the reality of what that kind of political change causes happens, you know, with all the constant wars in Yugoslavia that were freaking terrible, and the coups in Russia by the Communist Party as it's chucked Gorbachev out of power, and then that idiot Yeltsin took over, and the Soviet Union basically collapsed into a pile of crap. That was a pretty bad time, and my feelings towards Winds of Change changed, and I kind of thought of that song as being rather trite and silly. But now I can still listen to it today, just not as much as I could back then. Apparently back then, even in Germany when the wall was falling, that song was like on constant, and people got sick of it because they kept on playing it over and over and over. So yeah, those are some of my. Oh, sorry, Tans.
Yeah, that together with Winds of Change over in Greece, what was very big was Go West by Pet Shop Boys. Because it was the same idea, just like we took it as a parody and a satire of the whole. Oh yeah, let's all go to America, you know, because everything's better there and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that was really, really big over here.
Oh, that's and pretty
video, and the music video, by the way, which now I remember it, like that and Black and White they were both huge for different reasons, but yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Black and White, which was the Michael Jackson song, and that was billed. The video was the big thing with that one, as I remember. It was billed as being, oh my God, you've got to see this. This is the first time we've had real computer graphics and morphing in a video. Back then, that cost like millions of dollars, and that was a lot of work. And they had the people morphing from one to the other. And years later, I learned that was actually this band Goodley and Cream had done their own video, like years before that, of people morphing from one person to another, but they'd done it in a basic kind of way using projection and slides and like a video projection onto people's faces. And oh my God, that's so clever. but that's what influenced the black and white video, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it's good to see a different version of that effect. Cry is the one they did. Well worth watching. I recommend it heartily. So special mentions for my formative music back in the day. Simply Irresistible by Robert Palmer. I freaking loved the whole Heavy Nova album and his earlier Riptide album. And the video was a big thing with all the girls and the short skirts and the tight tops, and they all looked identical. And because this Quackcast is about how this stuff eventually came back into our comics, that's when I was drawing those kind of figures. And that really helped me understand bodies, because you got all these different women. Like, physically, they weren't identical, but because of the way they were dressed and they had this makeup on, you fooled into thinking they were identical. So it helped you be able to draw these people better, because it kind of it simplified things. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But Simply Irresistible was such a fun song. I freaking love it. Battle Forevermore by Led Zeppelin. This came out on the what was it? The album. It's just the Led Zeppelin self-titled album, I think it was. Led Zeppelin 4? Yeah, that was it. And I loved that, because I was reading a lot of Lord of the Rings at that time, and Battle Forevermore is just about Lord of the Rings, and he had a few Plant had a few songs that were based on that whole Lord of the Rings stuff, and I loved it. And again, that flowed into my artwork, because I was also really into fantasy back then, and I was drawing a lot of it, and that music helped me get into the feeling of it when I was drawing fantasy stuff. So yeah. And The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. I loved all the Fleetwood Mac self-titled album, I think it was, and Tango in the Night. I think they were the two big kind of hit ones. I loved those ones and used to sing along to it. And let's see, Wild World by Cat Stevens. So yeah, this was creative influences for me. So there you are. That's a very small kind of sampling. Obviously, like any human being, I have bazillion tracks I could mention, but those were some big ones. What about you guys? So, Tance, you've been searching for your records, haven't you? Your old 78s and 45s.
I have a bunch here already that I wanted to share with you. I have them all. I see them in we have racks for them. Anyway, I will not brag about my vinyl collection a lot. So, compared to others, it's not that big. It's just that I feel that it's very unique and emotionally significant to me. But anyway, now that I was trying to find the record I used to listen to a lot as a kid that had the Czardas songs on it, the Czardas music pieces.
Could you spell that, please?
Yes, it is CZARDAS, Czardas.
Wow, that's a complicated word.
It is very Slavic. And what occurred to me because I picked out, this was a record I used to listen to a lot, and this one was another, that sort of thing. But the covers of the art on the sleeves of the records influenced me a lot as well. And I didn't realize it until I now looked at it. So anyway, this was the record I used to listen to a lot as a kid.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, this one, a lot of Romani violin. And it says the title is Gypsy Dreams, so I'm sorry about that if it is offensive. And this one as well. These were from my grandfather, and this one it says It's very German, Ziegfuner music, whatever. I don't know. I cannot pronounce it, but it spells Czardas wrong here because
Okay.
instead of an S, it should be a Z. It's Czardas.
Oh, what's the Zig funeral music you couldn't pronounce?
This one.
Pull it back a little bit.
Let me try and reverse the camera. Let's see.
Sag ohne Musik. Sag. Yeah.
I'm trying to find
Zig ohne
a way.
Musik. I don't know what that means.
It's
Zig.
not letting me put the image. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So
That's okay.
All the letters. So yeah, this one is again lots of gypsy violin sort of thing, and it not only has the very folklore traditional tunes, it has some Hungarian rhapsodies in there as well.
Yeah.
So this a lot. I used to listen to it a lot as a kid. It was my way to connect with my grandfather, whom I never met. And now begin the influences from the covers, because look at this. This is Glenn Miller. And I don't think you can get more old-timey 40s style, 50s style than this. I used to listen to Glenn Miller as well, a lot. And as far as color is concerned, Houses of the Holy.
Oh, glorious. That's a good album.
Awesome.
It is, yeah.
The first time I remember anything to do with the Houses of the Holy was bloody Bill and Ted's, what was it, like Bogus Journey. And they go to heaven. They go, oh man, this is just like the album cover for Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy.
And Rolling Stones. This one had Angie in it. That's why I listened to it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, what's the track listing on there?
Let me see real quick. And look at these weird faces. I used to stare at them all the time. Anyway, it's Dancing with Mr. D, 100 Years Ago, Coming Down Again, Heartbreaker, Silver Train, Hide Your Love, Angie, Winter, Can You Hear the Music, and Star Star.
Oh, nice. I wish I had that album.
When I'm in the same continent as you can...
I'll visit you when you're in Canada.
And then, I have to also include some of the Greek ones, because I think you will see the influence. I was in love with this record and the guy on it. So I don't know if this looks familiar at all.
Okay.
So
who is that for our listeners?
This is an album, and this is the composer. His name is Stavros Xarchakos. He's one of the biggest names, like next to Theodorakis, in Greek music. And this was my first introduction to him. And he's very handsome. I really liked him at the time. So that's why Basil looks a little bit like him. So
yeah.
Well, speaking of Greek musicians, my big influence when I was a child was, of course, the famous Demos Roussos, who my mum loved.
Oh, yeah.
And he won the album covers.
A Rain and Tears, I remember for that one.
His album covers, he was dressed in thigh-high silver platform boots with silk caftans, muumuus over his big fat tummy, and he had a big grimace on his face.
He was We only have two Nepo babies that are actually popular. One was Demis Roussos, and the other one was Vasilis Papakonstantinou, who is also an extremely ridiculously popular pop singer, and I really like him as well. And then Nana Mouskouri.
Oh, of course, that was the other one my mum liked. Nana Mouskouri.
Yeah, and this one,
Nana
she,
Mouskouri.
she, yeah, all friends. This one is all friends that she sings, and then, and that's the last one. And I just wanted to also show off that I have the Dark Side of the Moon as well, and
Nice.
yeah,
Bum, bum, bum,
and
bum.
this is another one with chardas that my grandfather had. This is dancing around the samovar and has a lot of balalaika in it, which is why it is advertising it here.
Balalaika. So,
yeah.
I just want to ask, what were your favorite tracks on the Dark Side of the Moon?
Oh, money. It's a drag.
Money, it's a drag.
Awesome.
Yeah. And okay, yeah, it was side 2. So I say here. So yeah, money. It was the one I liked the most, and then I liked the one that was very creepy in the beginning, but I don't remember if it was "Speak to Me" or "Breathe." I don't remember which one
Breathe.
I found. Yeah,
I
think
that.
so. But yeah, but my favorite one was money because I like how it begins with the coins.
Yes, but apparently there were no coins involved in the production of that sound. It was all bolts and washers and nails from the guy's shed.
Awesome.
He had to shake them in a tin or something like that to get the sound right. And it sounds like a cash register opening and closing.
Yeah. That the whole thing. I really liked the rhythm in that one. I would listen to it over and over, and then when I started understanding English, I also liked the lyrics because it was worshipping money. So
yes, it's got that weird time signature, right? I know you play piano as well. It's like, is it in 7/4 time or whatever, or 9 or whatever? But yeah, it's got a very odd time signature.
I really like that. I still like it very, very much. And
I was just going to say my favorite tracks from that were Us and Them and Time, which I still listen to Time. Time is about because that really speaks to me still, because that's about how people sort of get stuck in a stasis, and time is not like a constant. It's not still. Things are moving, but people become too sort of stuck in the past sort of thing. I think it is. I can't remember anyway.
And I also have to show off my Simon and Garfunkel that I really liked. I loved them, as a matter of fact. I even had them. I had the same one in cassette, and I would listen to it on my Walkman over and over until it literally the tape wore out.
So which tracks on that did you like the most?
Cecilia.
Okay. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Cecilia. That's a very sexy one.
I didn't. I mean, I was too young, I guess, to interpret it as sexy. I just liked the Cecilia. I'm not gonna sing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drink.
We almost got you, Tarts. But, oh my God, that has a rhythm to it. That has a drive to it, that particular song. It's very, there's a lot of percussive energy to it.
Yeah.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart.
Exactly. Also, El Condor Pasa, or, however you want to stress the verb.
Okay.
So, El Condor. It says also like if I could as a title, but it's the one that is from the Andes. The song
Oh yeah.
that
I
was
remember.
originally sung by, oh my God, what's her name? I, I feel sacrilegious to forget her. Just 1 second.
It's okay to forget stuff when you're doing a Quackcast. You can
Because of that
always.
song Cecilia, while she's looking, I would, when I was in a relationship, I would never wash my face when we were together. Afraid of what would happen if I step away.
Oh, like, that was a very raucous house he lived in. My God.
It was, yeah, man. You can't step away for a second.
Dirty hippies. That's what I tell you. Dirty hippies. Oh my God. Throw some water on them.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, I
It's
don't
like,
think the
it's like I
songs.
can see it in my mind, like with the big braids and stuff, and I cannot remember her name at all.
I don't think Cecilia is meant to be taken literally. It's sort of like, yeah, an interpretation of a relationship over time. So was this person a big pop musician back in the 60s or 70s? Or 60s then, I think.
I think so. She had to be, but I'm not really sure because I only ever heard her sing the like singular one version of El Condor Pasa, and I think she also hated it and didn't want it distributed, but it was. Um, let me.
For some reason,
I'll
the
find.
name is it Crystal Gale? For some reason, that name popped into my head.
I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no. Just maybe. I'll find her. I'll find her.
Speaking
If it is, I'm
of,
telepathic.
yeah, well, we know that you are Baines. You're like Professor X, basically.
I knew you were thinking it.
Of course you did. Speaking
Oh yeah,
of
right.
Simon and Garfunkel, and people who did like other version songs, of course the Bangles famously did their Hazy Shade of Winter. That was very big in the 80s.
Yep.
It's a hazy shade of winter. Look around. That was a pretty good song. I loved the Bangles. That was a formative influence to me. Those, was it 4 girls? Yeah, 4 very attractive women singing and performing, and Walk Like an Egyptian was very big when I was a kid. Walk like an Egyptian. Oh my God, loved it. Did you guys like any Bangles songs?
Yeah, I like that one. I like Manic Monday, Bangles, the Bangles.
I found her, Ima Sumac.
Oh, okay.
So
No idea
I'll
who
just.
that is.
No, never heard of her.
Oh my God, huge.
Ima Sumac.
And yeah. Why isn't it let me? Come on. What's her name?
Oh, it is with a Y. Yes.
Yeah.
YMASUMAC.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I love her version. I love her version, and it's unfortunate that she hated it and never sang it again. So
there's a lot of musicians like that. Like there's the of a few years ago, there's the Goiti, I can't remember. Goiti, whatever. Goiti. Anyway, he sang the song "Somebody That I Used to Know," which is a fantastic song about the end of relationships.
Great song.
But he got really popular for that, and people were doing mimed versions and parodies and all kinds of things in their own versions, and he just sort of said, "Oh yeah, you do what you want, and I don't care." And he stopped really performing and went out of the limelight and disappeared. So, yeah, that's a fascinating thing. an Australian
well,
musician too.
Good for him.
Yeah. But even as a much older person, I think that song is quite inspiring. Because it, like, literally what the song's about is some person who's bitter about the end of a relationship. And, you know, which isn't a good thing to revel in or dwell in. But we are all upset at the ends of relationships, no matter if it's like a close kind of romantic, intimate relationship or like a less close, like a friendship or whatever. And it's good to be able to have that, in a musical version that we can listen to. It sort of reflects our feelings. So songs don't always, actually they rarely ever have to be taken literally as what the lyrics are actually saying. It just sort of evokes a feeling that relates to whatever experience you have. Sure, you can take the lyrics literally, but that's not the only worth of a song. See, and that's another difference between humans and AI. AI can only take it literally. It cannot understand what the music is relating to or what feelings that brings up. It never will be able to, unless it becomes conscious, and then it's no longer a machine anymore. It becomes a human in its own way. So, yeah, that's an important thing. So, Tan, so are there any more of those particular albums?
You mean any more records?
Yeah,
I didn't understand.
You were going through
my
a bunch
God.
of albums.
Are you going? You are encouraging me. Okay.
Well, I mean, like
so
the album's not as interesting as the tracks on it.
I know, but this one is Greek, so the only thing I can do is show it to you.
Okay.
So, this one, and this one is called Asia Minor, and I mean you can search it. I will just put a link. It is by one of our, again, most famous songwriters, Apostolos Kaldaras, and this whole album, the entire album, is in my veins, and I don't think there is any other piece of like group of songs that resonate in my heart more than this one. And it is a series of songs talking about the destruction of Smyrna in 1922, and how all these people that were thriving in Asia Minor became refugees and had to cross over to Greece and stay in Greece, and lost everything. They lost each other. The Red Cross was trying to reconnect families well into the 70s. My mom remembers the entire thing. And it is done in such a lyrical way that even though it is heartbreaking, if you know the lyrics, the music itself is very tender and intimate. And even there are tracks there that are very joyous and stuff. So I really liked it. Unfortunately, there is no way to make you relate unless, to link you to it. So I will. But that's the one. As far as like Western music tracks, the other one that I really liked was from Rolling Stones, "She's Like a Rainbow." That was significant in my family because it was how my dad romanced my mom. So that was that's how that happened.
She comes in colors everywhere.
Exactly. She's like a rainbow. And I knew the story, so I liked the song. And actually, that's how I got to like the Rolling Stones. So there's that.
And the hippie period, short little hippie period. Okay, we have to go to Baines because we've just been not letting Baines have his.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
No,
I always.
No, not at all. These are great. Yeah.
Before, what Taz was saying about those things, sorry, Baines, I'm being a dick here, but speaking of artwork, so there's the War of the Worlds. My mum had the full concept album of that and used to listen to it all the time. It used to make me bawl in tears. It used to like make me so sad, and I couldn't listen to it. Couldn't even be in the house when that music was playing. And that was because of the music about Thunderchild. The there's the artwork on that album is incredible. It's art by these amazing 1970s and 1980s illustrators. Michael Whelan was one of the illustrators on it, and he is like a god when it comes to illustration. And he depicted the tripods, the big metal monsters destroying Thunderchild. And I just loved ships at that stage when I was a child. Oh my god, I obsessed over ships, especially warships. Oh my god, it was one of the biggest things for me. And even like in my comic Pinky I have battleships. It's a big thing. But it made me cry that Thunderchild had been destroyed. But it's such a heroic song, and I listen to it now and I don't cry. I love it because Thunderchild gets destroyed at the end, but it's so heroic what Thunderchild does, destroying these sci-fi monster things from space, and you've got this battleship going and blowing them out. Which in the book it's not a battleship, but in the song it is. So there you go. Anyway, that's my thing, and the picture is amazing. But Baines,
yeah, well, okay. So I've been thinking about how does a lot of the music I like relate to what I try to do in comics. And it's weird because I had a connection to sort of fantastical stuff. Like we on Patreon, we talked about Kiss. My older cousin had Kiss albums, and I love the album covers. So as a comic book fan, got interested in Kiss. And then from there, I learned about Alice Cooper, became obsessed with Alice Cooper. I like the horror element to some of the songs. I like story songs. Like my dad was a country fan, so I listened to country like The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and like sort of songs that were stories. I would be really into that. Definitely Halloween and horror stuff. But the stuff I do in comics, as much as I've tried to do horror things, nothing has happened yet. Nothing's really come together yet, other than some short things. So I connected through the whole podcast. I've been thinking about what's the connection, and I think it's like music that's sort of reflects being there's sort of a romantic view of life. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and being alone, being a bit of a weirdo, or feeling, even though I was a fairly normal guy, a fairly standard, basic bro. Maybe not just a basic kind of individual in a lot of ways. Feeling like an outsider is very. I really did when I was younger, and sort of the things that are bittersweet, that are sort of romantic in view. So Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell" album, and that song, very much like with the fantastical elements to it, but then also the epic love. I mean, when I was younger, my downfall was like being in love, wanting to be, or being in, or being out and sad. Like
really?
Very, that's me. I get happier as I get older, thank heavens. But there's that. A lot of Alice Cooper songs about being an outsider are similar. But definitely "Bat Out of Hell" is huge. That's the first track on the album. The last track on the album is "For Crying Out Loud." That one as well. So it'd be those two songs. Huge. Have an epic fantasy element to them, which I don't write, but an epic emotion element to them, and a bittersweet and a melancholy, and that's very much in what I write, I think, at least as an undercurrent.
Quite operatic, those tracks.
Operatic, yes, very much.
Very big. Yeah, my mum loved "Bat Out of Hell," but the album cover scared me as a child.
Oh yeah, I can see.
I really liked it as well. How could I forget it? Thank you, Baines.
Oh, I'm glad. No, I'm glad.
What
You like it,
even
like your
scared me
mama?
even more was you listen to the songs, and it's basically just like a nostalgic 1950s, 1960s version of high school. But
Yeah.
there's a particular track where it starts off something like, "What would you say to the wolf in the pale moonlight?" or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Scared the shit out of me as a
On
little
a hot
kid.
summer night, would you offer your throat to a wolf with the red roses? I could do that whole monologue probably.
Wow.
But most of that album is great for me, and yeah, I can still listen to it.
Wow, okay.
There are a
But
couple of others.
the common feature of Kiss and Alice Cooper and Meatloaf singing on that album is a very performative kind of nature, extremely performative, because people are creating like an image as part of it that's bigger than just the music itself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think going from Kiss, then Alice Cooper seemed more authentic somehow. Although obviously it's still he's playing a character. It's very cool. A lot of crappy tunes on every album for sure. I still love almost all of it from the pre early '80s era. That's a block where he took a break and then he kind of was doing a different thing after that.
Poison.
Later on, I liked. Yeah, there's so much stuff I liked that. I could mention, but and probably ties into the idea of the melancholy and the love and the wanting to be in love. That's why maybe this is part.
Really? My God, I would never have
Yeah.
pictured you as Bill Daughtry.
I know I'm a tough guy. So you never know. He's a soft and chewy center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So horror and love are the two Baines things.
Yeah, I would love to do something that's got more of the epic and more of the dark, not dark fantasy necessarily, but maybe horror fantasy along with it. So I've been, to look behind the curtain if I ever get to it. I would definitely love to do some comics that are more dark, kind of epic fantasy to them, along with that sort of larger than life operatic love thing to it as well. That was really. I hope that all comes together at some point.
Yeah, we should do that. I think it's almost time.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Wow, that's very influential. I love it. So what about when you got slightly older? Did you get into more kind of pop music or?
Well, I went a little bit from Kiss to Alice Cooper, and then to his influence, Frank Zappa, but I didn't get too deep into Frank Zappa.
Okay. So you got into more kind of less popular stuff.
Yeah, so that I usually stayed fairly mainstream. So Frank Zappa, I couldn't get too deep into, much as I respect him and love some of the tunes. Camarillo Brillo is a great one. Again, with a guy about a guy who meets a witch. Very catchy song too. Later, I got into very poppy stuff, and it's very sort of
mention it.
Huey Lewis. Obsessed with Huey Lewis. I love Back to the Future, so Power of Love was huge, and that led to me buying his whole catalog up to then and a little past it. So I loved all of that. I listened to his cassettes over and over. Cassettes. Yes, I'm old. Very, very old. There's a guy, I don't know, I think Ozone knows him, but I think he was only really big in Canada. Gowan. Larry Gowan. Lawrence Gowan. No?
I know.
I think he was huge in Canada and is kind of unknown everywhere else. He sings for the band Styx.
Okay, that was a sort of a metalish band, wasn't it?
Ish. Yeah, kind of. Back in the day. But he had a song and an album called Strange Animal. It was really big in Canada, and that was one that I had in my Walkman I would listen to over and over.
Okay.
Along with Phil Collins, Don't Lose My Number. That song was huge, and video. About the weird.
Don't you lose my number.
Yeah. And the video had his face attached to like different bits in the video, I think, similar to You Might Think by the Cars. That was another obsession. That's video.
Oh,
You Might Think another love song. You know?
Well, I mean, as we were all growing up, video like took over from radio, and that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Americans
Killed
all
the
talk
radio
about
star.
What's that? Oh yeah,
Killed the radio star.
Killed it dead with a candlestick in the library. But that was a big thing because Americans all talk about MTV, but of course it was way earlier than MTV. It was like in the 1970s when it first happened, and then it was maybe even earlier than that. But like it was all going along. MTV was just the big American version, but it became such a big thing that that was how we got introduced to a lot of music, and bands all became very image based. And then you had bands that were just like big because of the way they looked, rather than just the music they played. Sorry, I didn't mean to like jump onto you, Banks. No. So yeah, keep on.
No, that's okay. Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
All right.
There's more. Now it's kind of left my brain a little bit, but yeah, there was stuff I listened to that maybe doesn't really relate to comics. I like some. Positive stuff too. I agree that Walking on Sunshine is great.
Oh yes, Katrina, fantastic.
Oh, Katrina. And then definitely the attitude of the '90s. So you have indie film, and then you have Ben Folds 5 was huge for me. Lisa Loeb, her first album. Well, that whole attitude, that was me. I was that age kind of thing.
I can sing that song from beginning to end. Her big hit.
Which one?
The only one.
Stay. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a tough one to sing. That's a toughie.
That would be my
character. Yeah, all that stuff. That's like the sort of '90s slacker, not in a bad way or whatever, but that sort of mentality. I worked in a video store where my comic eventually would have took form because of Typical Strange set in a video store. So
very close.
Yeah, that was very much like '90s mentality, since that was life. Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect. Oh my god, that is a beautiful conclusion.
Beautiful.
I love it. It takes us all the way around, straight back to the comic. It's perfect.
Yeah.
We've got 3 minutes to go in the cast. Lovely.
There's a thread in there somewhere for all of us again. Something like.
Well, you tied the thread off.
So, wonderful. Clipped.
Okay, we've got 2 minutes left on the cast. Everyone mention one song. It's just a random song from your I think Tansa's in the middle of having a chat, so she can't do it.
I'm listening to you. You think I'm not listening, but I am. So.
All right, everyone mention one song quickly.
Well, this gave me the inspiration to have my comic pages and panels in order way back when as a kid. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Excellent. All right, so that was from Sesame Street, originally from the Electric Company before Sesame Street.
Oh, right. Love that, too.
And Adam Savage's dad did the animation for it.
No way. It wasn't John Silvestri? That's disappointing.
He did everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah,
he's only missing one thing that I love.
I'll mention, Electric Blue. Freaking loved that back in the late 80s by this band called Icehouse, amazing Australian band. And oh my god, you've got to see the video. This guy has the king of mullets in this video. Isa Davies. Oh my god, the king of mullets. Has never been beaten. Okay, Tanth?
Love of My Life by Freddie Mercury.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's some of the most tender music I could think of, and I used it for my couples that I never have a romance story for. Bye.
Okay, that's fantastic. All right, this has been Quackcast number 781. I'm Ozone Ocean. Bye.
Hey.
Bye.